I'm with Jason Tucker-Feltham, who is the MD of London Crypto Services. Jason, can you tell us a little bit about your company and what you do?
Right. So London Crypto Services was founded last year by myself, mainly with one mission in mind, which is to improve the perception around cryptocurrencies and the crypto industry in general, but one project at a time. So there have been a lot of high-profile hacking cases, and this is to the detriment of the reputation of the industry. And we feel as though the hacking events are stifling progress in the space. And so we have come up with the idea behind actually reviewing individual projects ahead of their go live. And by doing that, we're improving perception of those individual projects, but we're also improving the wider crypto space. So just to give a little bit of context, last year, over $1 billion in funds were hacked, stolen from cryptocurrency exchanges. In one Japanese exchange in particular, around $500 million was stolen. So the actual criminal activity is very much still there. And there are huge cyber threats arising through having vast pots of cryptocurrencies on an exchange, and also just by individuals keeping cryptocurrencies in unsafe wallets and storage. So what we are trying to do is actually advise ICOs, initial coin offerings, ahead of their going live, what they need to be mindful of and what they need to do in order to ensure that their cryptos are secure. And also this also gives investors the confidence that they need, because if they have seen that a third party has reviewed a crypto project, they're better placed to actually make an informed decision as to how mature an ICO project is, and how likely it is that a project is to be deemed a safe store of value. Of course, all our reviews are subject to the usual disclaimers, and it can be the case that there have been some unviewed deficiencies, and so no cryptocurrency can ever be deemed 100% secure. But by performing third-party reviews, we can get a certain level of assurance that the project is mature enough for external investors to come ahead and buy their cryptocurrency. But also it just shows a maturity in the project. So less mature projects place less emphasis on security. If you go on a cryptocurrency ICO website, quite often you hear lofty claims of their using artificial intelligence, cloud computing, lots of buzzwords. But when it comes down to actually delivering on these claims, quite often the white paper that has been published doesn't actually match what's actually being delivered by the project. So this is also something that we perform. We perform a gap analysis between the white paper and the actual project deliverables. So it gives people a bit more of background as to what's actually been delivered, and it also gives you a bit more confidence that the project is as it says it is. Yeah.
Now, to do that before a project goes live actually takes a degree of maturity on that company's part to have considered security. Do you feel that the industry is taking security more seriously?
Absolutely. So we're seeing more and more projects actually pursue crypto audit firms for our services, purely because they're not going to be taken seriously until they have had a third-party review. So in the larger projects, more mature projects, which are being adequately project managed, we are seeing more interest in crypto security audits, and this is where we come in and perform our range of services. But yes, these tend to be larger projects with a meaty security budget, so there are budgetary constraints which might prohibit some projects from ever considering a crypto security audit. But for large projects, for sure, we are seeing increased interest, particularly from mature ICO projects. Yeah.
And this question is probably relevant to lots of organisations, but for you and your industry, what does good security look like?
So this is what it boils down to is planning. So planning and good project management, because if it's the case that crypto security is deemed a side topic and hasn't been considered from the outset, it can be the case that there isn't enough resource that is actually deployed to remediating deficiencies ahead of go live. Sometimes it's far sexier to come up with the very great marketing campaigns and also for hiring the best developers. But unless they are correctly project managed, there are deficiencies that will likely come about from any project, regardless of the seniority of developers involved. So there is a huge amount of planning that needs to go as part of any successful ICO, and as a result of that planning, you can achieve a lot in the space, and you can achieve great technological feats, but it requires a lot of planning. Yeah.
And if you're an investor or a consumer, what sort of things should you be looking out for when you decide if that's a currency that you should be interested in?
One of the first things you should be looking is at the team. So a lot of these crypto websites that you may come across will have no indication as to who's actually involved in the project. And the FCA last week published a consultation paper and illustrating that roughly 78% of cryptocurrency ICOs are scams, they're cash grabs. So there's nothing behind the project. It just simply is a nice website, and they're accepting funds for a crypto that will never actually materialize. So one of the best ways in which to get a certain level of comfort, aside from an independent audit, is to actually look at who's involved. Although Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general have only been around for less than 10 years, some of the people in the space have developed in that time a lot of reputation, and as a result you can get a certain level of comfort from who is actually involved in each crypto project. So if there's a strong team backing a crypto ICO, you've got a certain level of comfort there, and you've got more comfort that an actual project will be delivered and you'll actually receive a crypto asset. Whereas if you are purely interested in the marketing spiel of a website, it could be the case that you're just reading words and nothing will ever come about as a result of that project. And so this is one of our key activities. We like to review white papers, we like to review the claims, and in a lot of cases, yes, these claims are going to come about in a real crypto asset, and that crypto asset may be Bitcoin 2.0, it might be the next Ethereum, but until you go ahead and review these projects and what's actually been delivered on GitHub and other technology portals, you don't know. So we feel as though there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of due diligence that needs to be done before you can comfortably part way with your hard-earned funds and start investing in crypto assets. Yeah.
And as we look to the year ahead, what do you think that's going to bring for cyber and crypto?
So the nature of cyber threats are increasing all the time. So we're living in a more digitalized world. Banking institutions and lots of different firms are investing huge amounts of resource in developing new technology, emerging technologies, a lot of which is accessible via online portals. So my experience in investment banks is that more and more trading is going through online portals, so clients can directly access trading portals, but they're utilizing their own funds, sometimes using leverage. So the actual security needed to ensure that those portals are secure and online resources are secure need to take into account that the threats, the level of sophistication behind those threats is increasing all the time. Sometimes it's just an adolescent teenager in Russia that's spending his spare time trying to hack exchanges or portals, and will do it just out of fun, just as a pastime. And sometimes these can be mature organizations which are subject to such hacks. The technology at the disposal of the masses is shocking. So it can be the case that relatively young individuals are able to hack very mature platforms, and that's a scary fact. But a lot of the risks, a lot of the cyber threats can be thwarted by correct cyber defenses. and more organizations are now employing very expensive, at great expense, individuals are able to secure the cyber perimeter and then securing the reputations of these firms. Because sometimes a hack may not have instantly a high cost attached to it, maybe not a lot of funds have been stolen, but the biggest threat is to reputation. Once a institution has been hacked, that's going to be in the news, and that's going to be to the detriment of an institution. You know, a good example of the unrecoverability of a reputation would be with Deutsche Bank. At one stage, it was a great banking institution employing great people. It still is a huge institution, but the reputation is in tatters. And this is as a result of a multitude of different things, but it just goes to show that once a reputation has been attacked, it can take a very long time to recover that.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming in and speaking with me this morning. I'm sure everyone's going to find the risks to crypto quite interesting.
Thanks a lot, Carla. Thank you.
Thank you.